2011, Nicholas Winding Reffn released one of my absolute favorite movies, and there's no hiding this one. It is definitely one of my favorite movies. This is Drive. Drive is a movie that made me really look at movies differently. This was the first movie to actually make me take a step back and really appreciate everything a movie can do, from cinematography to music scores to subtle dialogue with body language. This is the movie. It really started back maybe a couple months after it came out. I saw it first on Netflix, and that's where I saw my first viewing of Drive, and here we are doing a review for it, for the movie poster, which I totally think deserves to be on the list. So let's go ahead and talk about this amazing movie. This movie stars Ryan Gosling as the driver. This is the only way we know of him throughout the whole entire film, as the driver. He is a local mechanic and a stuntman, but also a getaway driver for hire, eventually finding himself running into conflict. The thing I love about Ryan Gosling's character, he's a very subtle and quiet character and doesn't need to speak until necessary. Then there's certain situations he gets thrown into where the obviously mood changes and he kind of has to adapt to the situation naturally, and I love that about the driver character. Alongside Ryan Gosling, there is an amazing cast, which has the likes of Ron Perlman, Bryan Cranston, Christina Hendricks, and Carey Mulligan, and they do a great job of helping to flesh out the driver for the given time we have of this movie. Now, this movie feels like a very noirish take on a superhero story. The driver is the superhero. He has a motive in mind once he's thrown into a certain conflict, and it really kind of pushes the story. And it's interesting to see how he adapts to that, because when the movie starts, we're treated to a very cool getaway scene, and he's just very subtle, very calm, doesn't rush, but you could just feel the intensity while watching it. And it's one of my favorite scenes of the movie, which is the first scene of the movie. It's so good. The director, Nicholas Winding Reffn, has quickly become one of the more interesting directors in Hollywood. Ever since I started really getting into movies, I couldn't help but really like his style. Starting with the cinematography, a lot of the shots that we've seen really kind of suck you in and feel like you're there. There's scenes where the driver is just simply driving, but you're looking right over his shoulder. It almost feels like you're in the backseat of the car. And you could just see the intenseness on Ryan Gosling's face trying to do a getaway scene, or just trying to see how much time left before he needs to get away. And it's really interesting and just sucks you in. And another thing I really want to talk about is the beautiful music in this movie. So there's a couple songs in this movie, but when the song is on, it reflects the character's actions. So it either reflects the driver, the situation, or the overall surrounding of the movie, and it fits perfectly. I can't believe how well this movie works with music. I think Baby Driver maybe got an inspiration through this movie. I'm not 100% sure, because I still haven't seen that, but everybody tells me the music in that movie is phenomenal. Back to Drive, though. This is a movie, whenever a song comes on, it feels so right. It reflects the driver's emotions. It reflects the person sitting next to the driver, or the situation with the driver. It's really interesting, really fun, and I love it so much. Like I said, Drive is the movie that started it all for me. Now I can appreciate cinematography. I can also appreciate some more obscure storylines that also use different story elements that I normally wouldn't watch back in the day. This is a prime movie that shows that you do not need that much dialogue to get a scene across. Whenever we are treated with Driver, there are some fantastic scenes where very little dialogue is spoken, but the dialogue that is spoken matters, but it's the body language also that you can really get that much more out of while watching this movie. There's some scenes where very little is spoken, like I've been saying, but you can just feel this intensity and like raw anger, or just this nervousness. Every time I watch this movie, I'm always so excited to see if that opinion changes when I rewatch it, but you're still sitting there jumping at some stuff that happens, or you're sitting there feeling tense with the driver. Is it time to go yet? That is a constant theme in this movie, and I love it so much. And when it tries to slow down a little bit, all that time actually still matters, and I love it. Personally, I believe Drive is the easiest movie to get into for Nicholas Winding Refn's movies. I've seen a couple of his other movies. I've seen the follow-up to Drive, which wasn't a sequel, it was just another movie starring Ryan Gosling, and that was Only God Forgives. That is a movie that was, if not better in cinematography, it is just a gorgeous movie to look at. It's a very confusing plot. There's a lot of different elements in it. It's going to take you a couple viewings to really enjoy if you do want to watch it. I found that movie was interesting, difficult to watch at times because it was a little graphic, but it was just something else, and I think I liked it. It was really, really something. I saw it a couple years ago. I haven't had the chance to even buy it because by the time I went to go buy it, it was gone everywhere. And I should really just buy it off Amazon. Another movie that I really liked by him was The Neon Demon. Now this is a movie I think I saw either last year or in 2017, and it was a movie where I picked it up. This is a movie I've been wanting to see. I didn't get to see it in any theater or anything, and I went home, immediately watched it, and I was so disturbed but intrigued by the meaning of The Neon Demon. It's a movie I actually really want to make a video on, and I think I said this about a year or so ago. I think The Neon Demon is a horrifying, gruesomely beautiful movie, and it's really something else. That is a movie I don't know if a lot of people can stomach because it is a little intense at some scenes, but Nicholas Winding Refn has a really, really interesting take on movies, and to me personally, I think he uses scenes very well and characters, and they really suck you in, and that's what makes you want to finish the movie. I could see a lot of other people being a little disgusted or disturbed or just not interested in what he has to bring to the table. I will say though, that if you do watch any of his movies, you are going to be treated to purely unique ideas and very interesting concepts that I've never seen in a movie. I mean, Drive is a little bit of the more common story, but The Neon Demon and Only God Forgives, those are some movies that are very interesting in their own right, and I think people who appreciate just watching cinema will get something out of it. That's just me. I mean, I can't really break down all the walls and tell you how much I love the movie or how much I like about it, because I just want you to go into it with little knowledge and then come out trying to think of what did you just watch, because that's what he kind of does. There's a couple things where you're seeing things that they don't make sense, but then it clicks. Like I said, Drive is the easiest movie of his to really get into because it kind of has a start and it has an end, and it's pretty much linear. So I hate to keep making these videos and keep saying, oh, this is my favorite movie, this is one of my favorite movies, but I really can't help it with Drive. I adore this movie. It is up there. It is maybe even in my top 10 movies ever. This movie really made me appreciate Ryan Gosling as a serious actor. I know he was in The Notebook, but I really don't recall him ever being in anything else. Like, I think there was Remember the Titans from way back when, and he was good in that. I think that's right. And I really haven't seen him in so much before I saw Drive. Then when I saw Drive, I was like, this is awesome for him. He's so good as the driver. Then he made Only God Forgives, and I watched that, and he was awesome in that. Then he was also in Blade Runner 2049, and he's made also a whole bunch of other movies in between that, which are really excellent movies. He was in La La Land. I loved him in La La Land. So I really have a deep appreciation for Ryan Gosling. I try to go see all of his movies now because of Drive. Without seeing Drive, I don't think I would have been a fan of his. It's very funny how stuff like that works when you watch a movie and you really get attached to a character, and then the actor is just excellent, so you kind of want to support the actor in all the other movies. It's happened to me a couple times, but I really support Ryan Gosling with all the stuff he does. I think his stuff is really interesting, and I loved him as the driver. If you didn't know already, Drive is a movie that I love to watch. It is one of my favorites, and I really can't recommend it enough. I totally recommend watching this movie just for the cinematography, the music, Ryan Gosling as the driver, the story. It's very interesting. It's a very unique style, and I'm really curious to see what everybody's thoughts are on it. This is a movie which I saw it back in like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, and I fell in love with it, and I haven't stopped loving it since. And this is part of the episode where we go ahead and scratch off that icon to see what the drive icon is, and it looks like this. And it totally fits. And that is the end of this episode today. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you're trying to find me, I'm on various social media as the Wednesdaynator. And if you're not a subscriber but enjoyed this content today, please consider subscribing for more upcoming content. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time.